right. Good morning, everyone, or good evening if you're on the other side of the world. It is so good to see you, and I appreciate the patience as I was getting all of the channeled messages ready. Today's very unique. I love the mid-month and end-of-month collectives because it really gives me a chance to just kind of go freeform in the way that my intuition works. I'm going to put Apollo down so we can chat a little bit. He'll be hanging out in the background, and I might bring him back later, but we got a lot to talk about, so let's talk. So many of you may have joined me earlier this week. We did a bonus reading on, what was it? Was it Friday? Yes. And the bonus reading was great, very focused, but today is much more fluid, and it's not a surprise that your primary visual that came through was actually the ocean. And I wanted to wait until this morning to really even kind of declare what we'd be focusing on. We're going to be looking at finding balance in your life. One of the things that I talked about in the bonus reading on Friday was sort of like making peace with change. But now I want to find areas of your life where there may be imbalances and help you achieve a balance in those spaces. And then the other thing that I think would be really helpful is to spark passion. It reminded me of, let me see, I pulled up her name so I wouldn't forget it. I think it's Marie Kondo. Yeah, she's the guy that, the person on television, the woman on television that cleans things up and is always telling people to like spark joy, right? What I want to help you do though is to kind of spark the passion and the excitement in your life so that you can kind of look forward to whatever it is you're trying to manifest, right? So this is really going to help with manifestation, because if there's something that you're looking forward to, if there's something that you really feel engaged with, you're calling it in. So we're going to help with balance today and passion. And of course, I'll begin with a general reading. That's what this is about. We always do this on the mid-month collective and the end-of-month collective. Collective, just a big word, basically saying if you showed up today, this is for you, whether you're watching it live or later. I like to read these a little different than some of the other astrologers and tarot readers online. We're not going to break it down into the 12 different signs, because I don't need to do that. Everyone that's showing up, I can read the energy for you. And it's a lot more fun, and then you don't have to search out all those timestamps. So I'm going to be pulling in inclusive energies because we all live on this planet with the same opportunities and same energy at the same time. And if you want the specific messages, you have all of the June and July readings up on the channel. So this is a complement to it. I do 3 of these per month where everybody's welcome. It's a group gathering. So I'm glad you made it today. Let's get into some of the topics here. Just a couple of things before I get started. If you have any questions, you can work with my moderators, Maria or Dakota. They can answer the questions and kind of point you in the right direction. I also pinned a comment at the very top if you want to find out some more information about who I am, what I do, when I am live. It's all there. Just so you know, if you're brand new, I'm live every Thursday and Friday and Sunday and Monday. I will be taking tomorrow off just so that I can prep for the next round of readings, but I'll be back again on Thursday and Friday of this week. So that'll give you time to catch up on everything. I'm going to write my newsletter and send that out Monday or Tuesday. So that's the plan for this week. If you haven't followed me yet on social media, my username is Nicholas Ashbaugh, just about everywhere, and Ashbaugh on Twitter. Good way to know if I'm going to do any sort of impromptu readings, etc. And that's it for that. And if you like what you see here, thank you so much. I see Christina just provided a little bit of contribution there. So thank you so much. You can do that by clicking on this icon right here by the emojis. And it's also a way that you can join the channel, which is a way that you can get some extra perks, because on that bonus reading, I usually reach out to channel members and Patreon patrons and ask them some feedback. If I want to kind of have them vote between a couple of things that I'm trying to figure out what they want or whatever. So it's a nice way to kind of connect with me. So that's the main perk for channel members. Plus here on YouTube, you'll get extra emojis, which is fun. Who doesn't like some extra emojis? All right, so let's talk about your messages today. I always start with a spirit totem. A spirit totem is something that I connect with in nature that sums up what I'm picking up on, basically. And today, all I could hear last night, all I could see this morning was like the ocean and water. So we're going to go with that because it really has some beautiful metaphors and some beautiful messages. So let's just take a few looks at the planet, which when I was doing a quick Google, 71% of our the surface of the planet is actually covered in water. That isn't the exact makeup of the, the ratio of like rocks to water, but most of the surface is water. And if we were to look at it from space, I mean, that's why this planet is kind of amazing. It's just, swirling mass of clouds and water from some perspectives here, depending, if you're not looking at the continental part, it's amazing. The other thing that I love about the ocean is its capacity to break things down. So a couple things came to mind. The Titanic, even that gigantic ship, so many years ago that crashed, it's now kind of deteriorating to the point that probably in a few hundred years, we're not going to be able to see it. And also for those of you that may have gone to some of the beaches on the West Coast, we have like sea glass that you can find out here, where bottles and, larger pieces of glass get washed into these beautiful, smooth, it almost looks like what you would see with the polished crystal, right? Something like that. So it can take something big, something jagged, and kind of work it down, which is a great metaphor for what reincarnation is, right? Every lifetime we smooth out the wrinkles a little bit. We get a little bit more clearer. I had a line in my book talking about like carbon, how basically it gets compressed and compressed into a diamond until finally you have that sort of clarity. And that's kind of a metaphor for the soul too. Each lifetime with the pressure, with the kind of all the pressure tests that we have, we just keep getting stronger, clearer, brighter, and more like that diamond. Even a star at the end of its life is kind of crystallized like that too. So I really liked all of these metaphors. And then the fact that there's so much life in the ocean as well, so much undiscovered potential. So we're going to talk about that in all the messages here, but I just thought it was a beautiful sort of energy and a great place for us to start talking today. So just a single totem today, and really focused mostly on this, which is kind of cool. I don't normally do that. So the ocean is the birthplace of life on this planet. It's where the single cell organisms started to split. And we basically came out of that primordial soup. So it reminds us to get back to the source, basically, when I was looking at this. In other words, simplify matters, don't overthink, don't needlessly complicate. And it sort of sounds like an oxymoron, but it's easy to complicate things. Sometimes we're afraid to just do exactly what we're supposed to be doing because we think that there has to be all of these steps. If you ever watch a really good chef cook something, they know when to make something fancy. They know when an ingredient or when something that they've cooked is perfect the way that it is. Maybe it just needs a little bit of sugar. Maybe it just needs a garnish, but nothing. You don't have to go overboard because all the work has already been done. So in our lives, we need to think of when we need to go a little bit deeper or when we just need to put like, a sprig of mint on the top and it's done. So that's one of the things one of the messages that came through. Thinking of, I talked about the Four of Cups a little bit later, but it came through here as well. Often what we need is right in front of us or right beside us. The solution may also already be known. This is a lot like judgment when it's reversed, when we know it, but we haven't accepted it yet. So I think that I didn't write this down, but I would say one of the things to think about is that acceptance is one of the key, perhaps, blocks or hurdles for some of us. Accepting, embracing, and then taking action upon that. And that is the next piece that I wanted to talk about. Perpetual motion is sort of the defining feature when I think of the water, the ocean. It's constantly moving. And as this sort of perpetually moving agent of change, it's creative and it's destructive. And basically, I'll move on to the latter part of that in a second, but that's one of the things that makes this planet special is that the plate tectonics, first of all, everything moves around, and then the moon and the sun moving the oceans. And so we have these creative and destructive forces that are constantly reshaping the planet. It doesn't look the same as when it was all one continent like Pangea. It'll probably smash together again and make another supercontinent. So we constantly have things moving away, moving together, colliding, submerging, and I think that's kind of cool. There's creative and destructive forces. This earth will not look the same in another million years. So we as souls have to constantly be at peace with change. Sometimes we want to kind of like nostalgically look back and think that was better. I want to stay there. It needs to stay this way. But interestingly enough, this planet itself never stands still. Time moves on. we have to move on to. So basically, even all of the life within it, that was the other thing I was saying, there's millions of species, more than we've even had a chance to chart. They're also moving around as a part of, like, it's required for many of them, like a shark has to move to kind of keep and whales to kind of keep the water going through their gills. So just like them, if we stop moving, we stop growing. We may not die, but we stop growing. So the moving isn't literally just sort of like walking out the door, but it's moving to new challenges in your life, moving from one place to another. The movement will help push you into something bigger, something better. I was geeking out a little bit today, and maybe we'll do a video someday in the future just about like Neptune and its influences on us. You know, in astrology can help us kind of go into those dreams, illusions, the spiritual components, and even the fears. It's a lot like the moon in tarot. And as I was moving into that, I really think this is what kind of inspired me to go into the passion portion, which is to fan those proverbial flames of passion in your life, to find things that give you a reason to get up in the morning. Because when you look at happy people, they're often very busy people. They have, you know, things on their to-do list. They have people that they want to have coffee with or lunch with. They have things in the world that make them angry, make them excited, and they're doing things to celebrate, change, move these things. So what's your passion? If you've lost your passion, it happens to all of us from time to time. I want to help you find your passion. We're going to do that in the latter portion of this reading. So we'll do a general reading, then we're going to do a balance reading, and then a passion reading. Passion can be love, passion can be work, but we'll see what shows up in the cards. Here's a very interesting thing when you think about the ocean. It's subject to the gravitational pull of both the sun and the moon. I remember, because I like to geek out on astrology too, but I saw something, I'm like, what if there was no moon? Well, we still have tides, and we would, because they would just be very gentle. But the sun also has a gravitational pull, but not as strong, obviously, as the moon, because it's so close to our planet. But what I like to think of, they're both very strong forces. Some of us may be pulled between a couple of choices in the path in front of us. And I think that as we're looking at this general reading, I'm going to hopefully help you find your own power, so that it's not about what people think. It's not about what is expected of you. It's not about right versus wrong. It's sort of going internally and thinking, what am I trying to create? Because you are the creator. I'm skipping ahead, but you create your own reality. So part of this power comes in understanding that there isn't just two choices. There's multiple choices. So if you don't like this path, turn here, turn some other direction. Because in the direction, or in the ocean rather, we can move everywhere. Opportunities can come from any particular direction. Same thing with relationships. It may absolutely go outside of what your typical expectation would be. So we only know a fraction of what exists in the ocean. And I like this phrase is from Shakespeare, undiscovered country. It has to do with like going into the unknown, going into life beyond death. We have to keep an open mind, because we don't really know everything. So this is like the Queen or King of Wands upright, not reversed. Let's open up. 7 of Cups, not the 4 of Cups. Explore and navigate and see what's available to us. You have your own gravity, which is something that I wanted to remind you of. Sometimes we'll go into a meditation and imagine that we're the star, but you don't have to do that. Your soul has its own gravity. So pull in what you want, move in whatever direction you want. You can break the rules, creatively speaking, of gravity, because you're an agent of change yourself. Okay, let's see. As I said earlier, the ocean can break down the largest things like the Titanic, also little things like glass, and make something smaller, make something more digestible. Like it also kind of digests all of this stuff and reuses it for all the life within it. So what you want to do is to basically take those bigger things and bring them into smaller parts. If you have a big decision, if you have a lot to do, break it down, organize, and then delegate. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to do it all at once, but you do have to do certain things. So smaller steps, but still taking those steps. And you know, a lot of times I'll say take the first step, but I think one of the most important things here is to figure out what the steps are, what you want to do, and where you need the help. And this is a bigger and better way to kind of look at that. and a more sort of all-inclusive way to look at that. When you're manifesting, again, reminding you that in the ocean you can go in all directions, I want you to imagine what's possible and avoid boxing it in. So this is where I was talking about Seven of Cups energy versus the Four of Cups energy. And so with that, I would say this is a time when it is good to be expansive. It is good to dream a little bit because Neptune came through. Don't be too afraid. Really go further and farther than you think you could. And when you're manifesting, I want you to also be specific. I've talked about in the past where, if you just say you need a break, it could mean a broken bone, a sickness, or like something stopping in your life. So be more specific. Instead, say, I want enough abundance so that I can take time off on my own volition, so that I can do more of this. So bring the abundance and the opportunity to me so that I can create what I want to. Don't just say that you want a break. The break could be anything. A break is way too ambiguous for the universe. Tell it exactly what you're trying to create and the resources that you need, and then be open. Also add this or better to your ideas when you're manifesting. So you could say, I have this idea. I would like to do this, this, or this. Help me accomplish this or something greater, something that surpasses even my dreams and expectations. Because then you truly are the limitless being that you are in your soul space. And I talked about that in the bonus. We are eternal and we are limitless in a soul space. So why can't we bring some of that here on the planet right now, right here? And we can. Let things come to you. Try not to control, go with the flow. Again, because we're talking about the ocean today. So let me just summarize some of this fluid energy that came through, and then let's get into the general energy forecast, because there's a lot to explore today. So the ocean is your primary symbol. It is a reminder to go back to the source, to simplify, to not overthink. Oftentimes what we need is right here, or it's trying to kind of like get into the thick skull, but we're not listening. The perpetual movement, the perpetual motion is a very important component of the messages today. If we don't move, if we don't change, we stop growing. We may not stop living, but on some levels we do, because we're not experiencing things. We're not pushing the needle forward. Just like Neptune, not just the god, but the planet in this particular instance. We're really being asked to go deeper into dreams, into the metaphysical energy that we all have the capacity to manifest and work with, navigate, and really find and spark passion in our lives, which we'll be talking about later. Don't think you can just go this way or this way. You can go this way, that way. Start to focus on the fact that there are more than one way to do things, and that you're going to stay open-minded. Organize and delegate whatever tasks you have. Identify as well. You don't have to do everything at once, but you do have to do something, and you are a creator of the reality in which you live. So let things come to you, keep an open mind, and when manifesting, be open to surprise, the element of surprise, this or something greater, okay? So there you go. That's the main messages that came through with respect to what we need to do today, which is to expand, to be fluid, and to move. And it really was one totem, one message with a lot of smaller components today. Not always the case with me, but that's what my guides wanted me to talk about. And we're going to I was just getting a lot of the direction this morning as I got up. So balance was something that seemed really important. So as we start to navigate changes, this first spread that I'm going to look at is how can we be more at peace, finding some of that, like we talked about being at peace with change, but now where can we balance it out? Where do we need to take some of this and put it here? Thinking of like Six of Pentacles, justice and judgment, some big decisions. All right, so let's begin. I'm going to start again with my new favorite deck here, the Afro Goddess Tarot Arcana. It is on my website if you want a link to it. And yeah, I like it quite a bit. All right, so let me focus on messages. Actually, before we do change, I'm going to switch it up. I want to make let's do the general energy check-in, and then we'll go into the balance. So general energy check-in for all who are present, either live or on replay. Where are you at? Because this will help me identify where you're maybe imbalanced. But I want to focus more on what you're bringing to today's session, and then we'll focus on balancing it out, and then we'll focus on creating passion. So general energy first and foremost, and then we'll focus on the other two aspects. So this is really good for those of you that might be Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer towards the beginning of my readings. A lot of times people at the end complain that they have to wait, but people at the beginning have to wait as well. And it's been a while since I've read for them. So this is a good check-in for everybody, but especially maybe the first 6 signs. All right. You got so many wands. It's really interesting. The Two of Swords energy came through as well. We'll talk about all of it in a second, but I do see some synchronicities here. Yeah, this is probably my favorite deck that I own right now, just because of the attention to detail that this artist did. It's amazing. I'll be rotating it through all my monthly readings, so don't worry. Probably use it a couple times each month too, because it's so beautiful. Again, if you're looking for a link, you can find it on my website. Shuffle. All right, thanks for being patient as I got all of these kind of laid out. As I do the other 2 spreads, I may do past, present, future influences rather than the full expanded. That's something that I've been doing lately, and it seems to help. So we'll do that as well today. All right, let's begin with your catalyst message. Catalyst is a way for you really to connect to the highest energy, to stay on path. We have this belonging card here, which is really for some of you, this feeling of, do I belong to this family? Do I belong to this job or organization or social structure? Some of you may be more of a rebel because we have the Fool card here in the near future. And the Fool is about stepping out on your own. And sometimes it's hard to do that because parents, their expectations, society and the pressures that they give to us, and even our own fears and uncertainties, because it can be very comfortable to have a predictable pattern. And this one is about really balancing things out and thinking, is it enough? Am I satiated? As I'm looking at all the food that Ganesha is holding here. So you need to really balance out how much it's feeding your soul, whatever you're doing. And if it's time to move on, it's time to move on. So remember this too, that you belong to a bigger, more cosmic sort of purpose and energy and family. So part of that is here. Whenever you join this group of people, it's a nice, safe, welcome space where we can talk about things that you can't talk about in everyday life. And this is also an encouragement for you to find your bigger path where you feel like you belong. So I like that message. The only one holding you back from that is you. Ganesha is not showing any obstacles in the way. So it's really just asking you, he's really just asking you, do you feel like you belong? Remember, you do, but if you don't feel that you do, or if people are not making you feel welcome, that's a sign that you probably could find a better energetic match than whatever that situation is that you're currently in. Let's take a drink here of some herbal tea and let's continue with the spread then. All right, so let's move on to the center. As I was looking at all of the cards, I noticed a lot of wands because of the movement. I also noticed that the Knight of Swords is in the same position that it was for another reading this month. Exact same card, exact same position. So it's interesting when things like that pop up, but we'll talk about it. First things first, let's go to the center card. We have the 9 of Cups. What a beautiful 9 of Cups here. And the 9 of Cups, when I look at this one, I see someone that's finally in control of the emotional part of their life, and with the energy of the ocean, which if you look at it in the Lightseers deck, you'll actually see the moon, and there's a person sort of sinking into the ocean. So sometimes we can feel like the emotions are pushing us down. In this particular one, it's showing the power that can come forth when you can harness the passion, which we're going to look at in part 3 today. So general energy, balance, then passion. And this is what we really want to get to in the final part. I'd actually like to take you from the 9 of Cups to the 10 of Cups, because whenever we have the odd numbers in tarot, they are the imbalanced ones. That's why even like 6 of Pentacles shows the balance, because you're achieving it with that. On the odd ones, we're at a pivotal point where we're starting to move forward. So some of you still may be going between today's great or it's like the worst day ever. We like to kind of go more in the middle, which is, I didn't like all of that, but I can deal with it. This is really good. I like that. And you're no longer feeling these sort of like bipolar energies or polarized energies. So trying to use passion to fuel, trying to diffuse anxiety, fear, and the lower frequencies, and make sure that they don't divert us unnecessarily. Generally speaking, this is an optimistic card. So if you can look at the silver lining, or as the glass being, or the chalice being half full, you're going to be a lot happier and more prepared and more able to keep filling up that cup. So we have the 8 of Wands here. I love how you see the proverbial and perpetual motion in this particular card. So it really depends on the deck illustrator. Sometimes this is a communal card. I think in the Little Prince deck, it is that. And in some of them, you'll see multiple people. In this one, we see a person that is kind of standing her own amidst all of these changes and all of the movement. So this is you this month. You don't want to get lost in the shuffle. So those wands can represent a crowd of people. They can also represent a crowded mind. It also is a very good card for business. It's a great card for just being productive. Like you see, this is someone who's got it going on and is able to keep it moving. And we go from here to 9 and 10 of Wands. So the next big thing for you is just to focus on not giving up, because sometimes what happens here, so we're reading this in June and we're on the precipice of July. So towards mid to late July, you may start to peter down a little bit, start to exhaust yourself a little bit. That's when the 9 of Wands would step in and you're thinking, can I do it? Get the energy of this woman here and say, yes, I am doing it. I will do it. It's almost done. That's the message that's part of the card that comes after it. And then you get to move to the next phase with the 10 of Wands. Some of you are on the precipice of a change, but it's maybe like 2 or 3 months away, because we need to go up the Wand series to get to the moving card. So yeah, let's push through. I feel like you can make more happen quicker if you want to. It's a choice. And of course, it's a choice with your own energy and your own body as well. All right, let's take a look now at the 5 of Swords. Probably one of the better illustrations of this card, because it's with the 5 of Swords, it's oftentimes hard to win an argument with somebody who uses communication like this person is. And also, it is a choice of how we want to use communication, because sometimes literally the words we use, we have to end up eating them, or they hurt us as much as they hurt someone else. Because she's also, you know, depending on how you look at it, she's either cutting her tongue or she's drinking the blood off of this. But either way, it's not pretty. And that's the 5 of Swords. It's an avoidable situation. This card is reversed. So there could be someone in your life where they like it. They're feeding off of it, kind of like vampiric energy. So what they do is they try to incite an argument or push your buttons, and then they're kind of like enjoying it. So don't give them the joy. Give them some love, redirect them, focus on something else. Basically just show them that that tool doesn't work with you, and they'll go find someone else, trust me. And for yourself, if there's something going on and you want to get the last word in, if you want to prove you're right or say, I told you so, don't. This is a better thing to just walk away. I feel like it's completely avoidable. You either see this person a mile away, or you know before the words leave your mouth, I shouldn't say this, so don't. Swallow that and redigest it and come up with something better. So there's a better way to say it. And for some people in your life, they're not worth the energy because they like it and you don't need to go there, right? So that's all. 5 of Swords is a very navigatable card. A lot of times This one just really gives a lot of clarity to it, doesn't it? Because sometimes this one is a little vague, but in this one we can really see it's about choosing to go there, either to engage in an argument, to say something, or to let somebody's words hurt you. I was talking to a family member the other day where some stuff was kind of stuck in their head. I'm like, you just don't need to digest it. It's like bad food. If we were starting to eat something and it was rotten, we would go to the trash can and spit it out. We wouldn't keep eating it. So don't do the same with other people's words, or tell them, I don't like what you're saying. Let's change the topic and see what happens. Okay. Because we have the Knight of Swords here, the Son of Swords. And this one is kind of flying on what looks like butterfly wings here, and rising above, ostensibly, trying to rise above the situation. So I like that. This particular card came in the same position. I can't remember which reading because I do 15, but it came through in the same position this month. And so there is this need to take the higher road with communication. There's also a need to make sure that you are elevating your words. So that's a reason on this channel that I usually don't go into, sort of like cursing or trying to sort of spin things negatively or whatever, because it doesn't help. It's better to be focusing on how you can improve things than leaving things worse than when you started. So in conversation, don't sort of soil the conversation. If you can't go somewhere positive, don't go at all, or figure out a way to navigate so that you can get to the point quicker and get in and out. A knight will do the best that they can do. There's a code of conduct with knights, right? At least the ones that follow the rules. So with the card upright, it's saying, do what you need to do quickly, especially with communication, get in, get out, keep it elevated, and move forward, move on. And if someone else around you is spewing this kind of stuff, you're still going to just move beyond that. There's no time for it. Don't digest it. Don't take it personally. If someone says that, there's a lot of hurt within them. If all they can do is push buttons and trigger that in you, that says a lot about the problems that they're going through. And maybe just try to find compassion and think it's not worth my time and energy. Why would I make it worse? They're already clearly miserable. So like, we'll move beyond that. And you're going to cultivate positive things in your life. Because if we go back to the center, it's about the cup being more than half full. You got it almost overflowing here. And you've got a lot to do. You don't have time for that. You got a lot to do. And I want to help you get to the next phase. All right. So here we have a sort of tentative Seven of Wands. So with this Seven of Wands, what I would say for you is you may be in a sort of reflective, contemplative sort of energy this month, looking over your shoulder thinking, all right, and there's nothing wrong with this, by the way. I'm not going to judge her. She's just thinking, how did I get here? Do I like where I'm at? And is there a better way or smarter way for me to work? I would like to see a little bit more confidence in the illustration, but I don't mind that she's looking back, because sometimes if we just keep going and going and going, then we may miss something along the way. So she's pausing, she's looking, but my message for this character is you're fine. Don't doubt yourself. Keep moving in the direction that you need to be moving in, and it's going to be all right. Okay. So the next step for this, by the way, with Seven of Wands comes the opportunity to delegate. So I would say if you're ready to do something and you just don't have the bandwidth to do it, if you're just feeling overwhelmed, ask for help, push back on a deadline, ask if something really needs to get done, explore to make sure that you can work smarter, because this is someone that's working really hard, but this is someone that might be able to help them work smarter by pushing something back. It's not just a defensive stance, it's also, no, I'm not going to take one more thing. No, that's going to actually push me a little bit over the limit. So be aware of your limits. Stand up for yourself in that respect. In communication, try not to go on the defensive. Try to kind of go more on the, I hear what you say, let's think this over, let's regroup tomorrow, that kind of energy. All right, now to our Fool energy coming through next. She's having a good time. She has her knapsack here. It looks like or maybe just a coin purse. She's traveling very light. So what I like with the Fool is it's exactly what we were talking about here with the Ocean, which is simplifying, going back to the source, simplifying matters, and not trying to make something harder than you think it needs to be, because you probably already know what to do, when to do it, how to do it. So this fool has finally decided, I'm going to go for it. It's a reset. And so I feel like I've been helping all of you reset for the past 6 months, because last year was crazy. It's still a little crazy for all of us, but we have a clearer picture of how to navigate now. So at this point, there's no more planting seeds. We need to start to harvest. We need to start to grow. We need to start to see the movement happen. So the seed planting is done in that respect. We'll go in at the final thing. If there's more things you want to, we're always gardening. We're always creating more sort of spiritual opportunities. But I want to start to see you manifest and work with some of the actual manifestation that we've been working collectively on for 15 months. And so this fool is saying, let's do it. Take those calculated risks. Don't worry. And this is a modern fool. We don't actually even see let's imagine she's already gone past that little gap where we're not sure if it's a big jump or a little jump. She's just moving. So we want to be moving just like her. Okay. She almost reminds me of the high priestess, the way she's illustrated. So she knows what she's doing. No hesitation, no stress. She's not bothered. All right, let's move into your ego this month. We have the Hierophant reverse, which is the main way that this particular card has been coming through. Thinking of things from a different angle, literally. Letting people come to you, not feeling like you have to control them. Also, there's sort of this reclamation of power because the keys are here. Traditionally, this represents someone else, or so there's this red carpet going up to this Hierophant, and it's almost like an initiation that you have to do, that there was this old traditional rite of passage that you had to go through, and someone had the keys and you'd have to ask permission. With the card reverse, it's reminding you, you hold the keys, something I've been talking about for the past couple of readings. Don't give those keys away, and don't think someone else has the right to take them, or that you need to ask for them to give you the keys. So the key for the change for this Fool card that we see here is it's within. You just have to decide to grab it and open the door. In that Light Seers deck, I really like the way they illustrated the Five of Pentacles, because a lot of times we feel like something's been taken away. In that deck, the keys are right by the door is kind of cracked open, but the person isn't looking. So in this deck, I think you've realized your power, and all you have to do is seize the key and do something, or the keys, and do something with it, okay? The next one is interesting. This is your environment, and this is precisely what I was talking about here. Let me just see. If we go to the omnidirectional, it's not the way I said it, but that's kind of the way it is. Yeah, you may see yourself at a fork, torn between two options, Two of Swords, but you have your own, but the thing that I said before that is the subject, the ocean is subject to different gravity and different rules, so you can move in all directions. So with this particular card, if she could take the blindfold off, I even see her kind of like almost in space too. So it feels like in this direction or in this dimension, you can kind of do whatever you want. So stop thinking it's just right or left. It could be forward, backward, up, down, or some other direction in between. So you have more options than you think you do. You have to look at it again. And if you are blocked here, move. I'm going to probably put this on merch sometime, but rejection is protection on a cosmic level. So if you are rejected, you are protected. You are not a failure. If you feel like you are up against a wall, it's because the directions in which you are currently gazing either are not right, or you're needing to kind of go above that wall, and there's something on the other side, or there's something just on the horizon that you need to focus on. Change your perspective, basically, is what this Two of Swords is saying. So yeah, you're not as limited as you think. There is something that you want that you can't have, but that doesn't mean that you need to sort of like break down and cry. It means that there's another way to get it. And there may be someone that can help you. There may be a different solution. Remember the manifestation mantra, all of this or better, or this, or show me a better way if I'm not doing it this way. Open yourself up to not be blocked. Because if you feel that you're blocked and you fixate on being blocked, you are going to feel the biggest block of your life, and it's going to feel like it's just a lot to take, right? You're going to cry. It's going to be heavy. So I am helping you lift that curtain, because some of that is self-imposed. The other thing with the Two of Swords is to face the music. So a lot of times we don't want to look at stuff. So maybe if your savings isn't where you want and a bunch of bills have come in, you're like, I'll look at them tomorrow. No, look at them now. Look at where you need to put your money. Make a plan. This is the more education, the more action, the more aware you are, the easier you can get past this moment. Okay? She's really this, but she's just afraid to move. So let's move the fear and let's look around and let's get into this sort of energy of the Fool. All right. Next card is Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups is cool. It's a card of seeking something sometimes. And let's look at this. So for some of you, you may need to take a time out, a sabbatical, a step away from something. With this card, there's always a chance to return to it. Now, the card is reversed. So for some of you, you may be tired of the on and off. If you've been dating someone and it's been going on for a while, maybe 5 or 10 years or something, or maybe it's just 5 or 10 months, but you're thinking, why are we not going somewhere? This is a card of, especially in the reverse state rather, of thinking like, where are we going to? Is this enough for me? I want something more than that. It's a level of commitment, but it's a little bit passive. So for some of you, it's like, I want you, I want you to want me. This is complicated because if it is a job situation, sometimes what you need is to have a better offer on the table somewhere else. So notice how she's not sitting around and waiting. There's a message there. There's a cup. There's a space for this cup to be, usually there's 8 cups, but there's a gap. Sometimes there's only 7 and there's still a gap. But basically the gap is left there because she can come back. She's got that cup with her and she's off seeking things, figuring things out. So with the 8 of Cups, we kind of know what we want, but we need a little bit more clarity. We may need some time out. If someone stepped out of your life or if you've missed an opportunity, the door is open, it's not closed. But there needs to be some more finality to it. There needs to be some more commitment to it. So if you're permalancing, freelancing, gig working, something where it's nice, but like you can't kind of project out enough in the future, you may want a larger or longer contract or a permanent contract. If you are in a relationship and it's just been kind of like going and going and going, but you're not sure where it's at, you may need to have that talk of commitment. Either way, the good news with the 8 of Cups and the 8 of Wands is things are pretty steady. And this is really good to have the combination for business. This is return business that takes a long time. Maybe you see a client once a year or once every 6 months, like a dentist would. This is something where you can see, I'm really busy today, I'm really busy tomorrow, I'm going to be busy next week. People are coming back every week. It's more like groceries. So this would be like a market and this would be like a dentist, different kind of levels of frequency. I see both of them. You have some choices and I think you have to decide how to spend your energy. So there's an expenditure here, choice for some of you. The world is your oyster here. I get it confused sometimes, but clams, oysters, which ones have the pearl in it? Whichever one has the pearl in it, you have that capacity. And just like the ocean, things take a while to build up, so that little clam or oyster, it has to kind of filter a lot of stuff before that pearl is formed. Oyster, thank you so much, community. So with that makes sense. So the world is your oyster, but remember that the pearl takes a while to create, okay? So the 2 of Wands is our opportunity to think like, what is it I'm trying to do? And yeah, it's maybe just this big, but it all begins with a grain of sand, right? It all begins with something small. So just keep adding to that and keep your eye on the prize and keep working, and you're going to start to see some manifestation. This is the necessary card. If you don't have 2 of Wands, the High Priestess is not as elevated. So I want you to keep your eye on what you're trying to do and then think beyond and then keep an open mind and then keep moving, okay? Let's move on to your expanded forecast. Expanded forecast includes health, wealth, love, and destiny. And I'll try to move quickly through this. We're not going to do a review today because we have 2 more components. So I'll do like a mini summary and then we're going to move on to balance in your life. All right. So interestingly enough, as I was thinking of some of the outer planets in our solar system, like Jupiter, like Neptune, like Pluto, even though Pluto's maybe not traditionally a planet anymore, in our hearts it is, right? This sort of frozen energy is interesting. Icebergs, well, first of all, glaciers are fascinating because they still move, just at a very slow speed. there's still a flow of water. It's just very, very slow. Icebergs also kind of have this interesting thing where you think there's not something there, but there's a lot more than you would imagine. So more than meets the eye is what I'm getting with all of this sort of ice metaphor. And I talked about the submerged piece. If we were to, like there are certain continents right now that still have a lot of, not icebergs, but I would say glacial covering. So it actually depresses the land mass. And once that melts, the land can kind of pop back up. With this submerging energy here, there's just more beneath the surface. So whether it's the glacier or the iceberg, there's more than meets the eye. You're more powerful than you think. Once you let go a little bit of some of that feeling of being overwhelmed or submerged, then the sort of rising energy happens. For those of you that need to just get some support and talk to someone, this card makes a lot of sense. So sometimes it just is too much pressure. So if you're at work, talking to someone could just be that delegation card that we see here. Hey, I need help. Can you help me with this project? Or talking to your boss, this is going to get done next week because you asked for this today and there's no way I can do both. Keeping it real, being honest. This can also be saying, I'm sad. Can you listen to me? Asking for help, whether it's a friend or a therapist, this can be very helpful. The submerged energy can also be like, I'm alone, but you're not alone. You're here, you're amongst friends, and there's a lot of energy around you when we saw like the 8 of Wands. There's a hidden community within this particular card. So just be willing to reach out for it. For the submerged energy, when we're looking at relationships, it can also be someone distancing themselves or not allowing you in, and that can be really frustrating. Some other things that are coming up here is I'm just looking at health in the cards. This is just ignoring something. So if there's something going on, you can't push it under the rug, submerge it. You can't, like, it's eventually going to come out, come up, reveal itself somehow. So deal with it sooner than later. And I think that would be very important. Let's see what else. Just subtle, gentle movement is really important. We talked about the ocean today, so swimming just as much as walking would be beneficial. This card can be about using the force of your body to kind of like work on upper body strength, or you could even use some weights. So a combination of the two where you're doing gentle sort of strength building and muscle building, and then just moving a little bit. I'm not a doctor, I'm a tarot reader, so you should always talk to your doctor before making any changes in your diet or your exercise routine. But those cards are coming up and I look at energy, so you can talk to them about that if it feels right. Whatever you set your mind to, I feel like you're on the right path and you're going to start to see some opening and some movement with it. The 3 of Wands is a little preferable to the 2 of Wands, but this 2 of Wands is showing an opening here with that shell. So just know that some new options are going to start to open up. You're not as limited as you think. It also may not be as bad as you think it is. With the 7 of Wands, I would also say don't force anything. So if you are starting a new routine, or if you're changing something up, ease into it. It took a while to get out of it. It's going to take a while to get into it. All right. Those are the main messages there. There was nothing really bad actually here that came through in health. It's mostly about paying attention to what you need to do, making some sort of a new routine, changing up the routine. I think all of that's going to help. The only thing I would say that is coming through for some of you, if you have been overdoing it, probably with something that you're drinking, whether it's caffeine, alcohol, sugar, something like that, ease up on that a little bit. Okay. Moving on to wealth and opportunities, we have something knocking on the door here. It says opportunity beckons. And we see the globe here that the 2 of Wands was calling in. So things are happening sooner than you think. It feels to me like if you just sort of open up to what's available to you, you may be surprised at the speed with which it happens or in the manner that it kind of comes to you. So it may not be as expected, but it may be exactly what you need. You know, we didn't get any pentacles, did we? So I often look at a lack of something as a indication. So one thing is maybe you're not just focusing so much on that because there's a lot going on. But because we got the 2 of Swords, I do want you to pay attention to resource management this month, okay? So take a look at how much you have, how much you want, how much you need, and think of ways that you can create rather than focusing on, oh my God, I don't have enough. Okay, you don't have enough, but where can you find areas to create, to open, or to release stuff so that you can balance it out, all right? So when you also negotiate for something, whether it's an apartment, a house, a job, or if you're getting into a relationship and you're looking at like a prenuptial, just make sure you're getting also a good bargain here, whatever it is. It should be equal, okay? Greater than or equal to what the other person is getting. All right, relationships this month, we have affection and determination, morning glory, which is gorgeous. It also spreads a lot. So I would say here, the cool thing with this is that your passion this month is kind of like wildfire. It has the ability to go and reach in places that you wouldn't imagine. It says, let's see, the morning glory, which blooms for a day, differs not a heart from the giant pine. Okay, this is too much information. But one of the things that I like with this is the morning glory does just last a day. There's also some breeds of epiphyllum that do the same thing. They bloom at night, and in the morning the blossom's done. So there is an ephemeral energy to this. That's really all we needed from that lengthy quote there from Alan Watts. So there's an ephemeral energy to this, and you want to focus on affection and determination. And with that, I would say, again, what's your passion? Also, what in your life is kind of coming and going? So the ephemeral piece can be something that's short-lived and you want to enjoy it. There could also be things when you look at it as ephemeral, it could be a blessing, because if it's a pain in the butt, you just have to get through it. It's short-lived. Ephemeral is a fancy word for just short, like a story on Instagram is ephemeral. So it's there for a day and then it's gone. So let's focus on what matters. And if something's been resolved, let's not focus on that anymore. Let's let it go. And I think that's going to be key to happiness in relationships and happiness in your life. Looking at the relationship energy, we're not seeing a lot coming through right now, other people. I'm seeing instead that you're pretty busy here, because we have the 8 of Wands, the 7 of Wands, the 8 of Cups, the 2 of Wands, the Fool moving you forward. We do have a Knight of Swords. But here's the interesting thing. Love and relationship energy may come in at inconvenient times this month. So your biggest challenge is going to be how to balance out the relationship. So I think that when we look at the third portion of the reading today, that might be something that will come into better clarity, how to balance out the relationships. If you're in love this month, I think that looking at you, there are extremes, high and low days. There's a lot that you're trying to deal with, and others may not pick up on that. And they may be trying to control you. You may be trying to push your own sort of agenda forward. Nobody's listening to anybody. And that's the problem. So it's communication. Communication is breaking down. There's nothing bad that's happening here, but it does feel like one or both of you may need a timeout. The Fool is going its own direction. So is the 8 of Cups. So just make sure that you eventually come back together and regroup on what you need to do. Okay. There's nothing wrong with getting your sort of head cleared out. If you are looking for love, like I said, it could happen at an inconvenient time. There could be sort of a stubborn energy with the person that you are dealing with, or there could be sort of a maturity gap. So that could be the challenge in new relationships. If you're not looking for love, good for you, because you've got so much going on. This is really a month to be productive. It's a common thing that I've been seeing all of June and July. So this is still accessible to you. And I think for you, it's about making and breaking cycles. And you're going to see actual results this month. The beginning, it's like seeing it on the horizon. So I think it's good if you don't want to focus on relationships. There's a lot of other things that want to come through. The Destiny card here, it says, let spirit be your guide. We have the hawk spirit that came through for this. So the hawk also is a hunter. It's a bird of prey. Don't be afraid to go after what it is that the universe shows you. So I would say there's a second sort of message with that, which is look higher, really look and see. And that's actually your answer this month. The hawk is the foil, or the card that kind of comes through and shows a different aspect of this. Take those blindfolds off, look up, look this way, look that way, look in between, go in all the directions. There's more than meets the eye. Okay, and the hawks are renowned for good eyesight. Eagles and hawks, they're good at seeing stuff. So yeah, use that vision to unearth something that you didn't see before. So again, no review today, just a couple of comments here. Pentacles were missing from this sort of collection of cards today. So I would say really focus on your resource management. There's a lot going on between the 8 of Wands and the 8 of Cups. And for some of you, you need to kind of step aside and get some space. We saw that with the Fool card and the 8 of Cups as well. So with relationships this month, focus on communication, whether it's work or love. That's going to be important. The good thing is things are opening up to you, especially when it comes to work, life purpose, financial opportunities. So be aware of that. The only thing that's holding you back is this feeling of I am alone, or nobody understands, or this is never going to happen. The limiting thoughts. And they're starting to manifest. So you don't want to keep manifesting those, because just like this morning glory, let's see these things as ephemeral, the things that are holding you back. And in that way, you're not going to feel like it's not going to happen. The belonging message here from Ganesh earlier was just saying, you need to feel a part of something bigger and better. And so as we go into the third reading today, hopefully I can help you get there. All right, so that was the energy check-in, the general reading for everyone. I'm going to do the next couple ones a little bit different, where I'm going to look at past, present, future influences to speed up the reading here when I'm looking at the expanded forecast. It pulls in some interesting things. So let's do that. Let's move on to the next portion. All right, I'm trying to figure out which deck I want to use. I think I might even just do a repeat of what I did yesterday, because I really like these 3 decks. So we'll use the same ones today. I'm going to use Light Seers next. All right, so for this next portion, it is focusing on finding balance in your life. So let's see where the balance can come through. The time frame is here and now for people asking, and for the next 6 to 8 weeks, like all of my forecasts. I will start reading August, believe it or not, on Thursday. So what you're seeing now is still for July, June and July. I would say 6 to 8 weeks. As I start to read next week, we're going to be looking out at the next month. So also, we all kind of move at our own speed, right? So just see where you're at and look at the past, present, future in the spread here, and that will help you as well. Okay, the cards are being frustrated here. Let me give it one more shuffle, and we're going to look at balance. Balance for the next 6 to 8 weeks. There we go. Good old 5 of Swords making another appearance. How can we find balance? Where is balance lacking? What will balance do for the collective? Yay for the 6 of Pentacles, the quintessential balance card there. Yeah, that King of Pentacles has been following us, hasn't it? It came through a lot in the previous spread. Yay for the Lovers. All right, we're going to do past, present, future. Let's see. I'm going to use the circular deck that I did before. Later today, I'll put this linked on I'll put a link to it on my website. This is, again, the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. So instead of typical expanded, we're going to look at past, present, future for the next 2 to help us, in this case, find the balance, and the next one, find the passion. I like the round deck for today because it looks in all the directions. I also want to do a catalyst, so let's pull one more. I'm just going to use the tarot deck for the catalyst. Okay. All right, so let's look at what we've got here. So for our catalyst this month, we have a card that's normally very independent, the 9 of Pentacles, reminding you that you have the capacity to reach that pinnacle of self-reliance, of independence, of abundance. There is sometimes a warning with the 9 of Pentacles that we are so focused on either the material or the independent portion of this that we miss the opportunity to partner. So the balance portion of this would be to open yourself up to receive more than you've already received. This is not a limited card. It's 9. There's room for 10. There's room to even go up into the court cards. So you may have all that you think you need, but the universe may have more love, more opportunity, more abundance. And there may be someone in your life that can enhance or help you move through what you have. So yeah, be open to partnership. And we have looks like an owl here kind of flying on that top pentacle. So that could be spirit or someone else coming into your life with some advice. But you can do this. You are doing this. You have everything that it takes here. I love the 9 of Pentacles. This should be most of our goals financially, is to get to that place of having more than enough so that we can do great things with it. I had a reading the other day with someone that was afraid of having money or having opportunities or abundance. And I thought, no, that's not what you want. Because when you have more, you can do more with it. You can help more. You can be philanthropic. So let's not fear resources. Let's then just use them wisely, right? All right, we have the Five of Swords at the center, a very different Five of Swords. So we had the one before where she was kind of licking a sword and we saw some blood on the sword. This one we actually see, it makes me laugh. There's this crow that's kind of cawing in his ear or squawking in his ear. And you can just see this person has had enough. It's like, please make it stop. So we all have someone in our life that doesn't know when to stop, or they don't know how they sound. It could be that they're, egotistical or narcissistic. It could be that they're very depressed and there's a lot of energy coming through with that. It could also be that they just talk and talk and talk, and they never say, how are you? They never pause. So there's someone in your life that needs to do more listening and less talking. And it's hard when that happens. There's maybe no easy way, because the Five of Swords is hard to win, but it's not always about winning. Sometimes it's about making a stand, right? And then later you'll have a chance to come back, and it may just crack through the veneer a little bit. So I believe this Five of Swords is not about quote unquote winning or losing. It's about letting them know that something needs to change. So it takes a few of those sometimes to get the point through, but it will eventually get through. So let's start the dialogue and see where it goes from there. All right. In the background, we also see someone that they're either jumping up or they're falling down. I would say for you, also don't get distracted or focus on someone else's drama in their life. And I'm not laughing. I see that there are some people, when you're working as a teacher, a therapist, a doctor, probably if you're at the DMV, there's so many different places where stress is just going to be a part of the job. And people that are stressed are going to be a part of that job. So this is really about navigating that and deciding how much to take in. Remember before I was talking about rotten food, we wouldn't keep eating it. So this is about making sure that you validate someone. I see that you're upset and I hear what you're saying, but there's a lot more to focus on. We have to redirect. We have to look at something else. So it is about stepping up, and you don't have to let people walk all over you. And that's the main message here. And they don't need to, if we imagine that it's a stage and there's a production and there's other lines to be delivered, someone can't hog it. When their time is done, they have to move out. The spotlight has to move on. So someone's hogging the stage here. I would normally never see all of that, but it's all coming in here. I even see the person in the background trying to get the spotlight there a little bit. So let's avoid that this month. And part of this is about stepping up. And even if it doesn't seem to change it at once, it did get through the person on some subconscious level. And the more you repeat that, the more they know that they can't get away with that. So that's it. All right, we have the King of Pentacles on top of this. This is a really great card. He came up so much on Friday's reading, I believe. I think all three spreads, I got different King of Pentacles. So this is his first appearance today. It is in the center like it has been in the past few readings, which is very interesting. So King of Pentacles is a great card. We didn't get resources before. This card is telling me that you are resourceful. You can basically decide to, you have the ability to create even where something doesn't exist. Midas touch, basically, but not with the weird trappings of that fairy tale. With the Midas touch, everything he touched turned to gold, so he could never touch anything that he loved because it wouldn't kill it. So we're looking more at the sort of abundant, magical touch, like a green thumb. Let's look at it that way, which is everything you touch is love, and abundance starts to come through that. So imagine an elevated version of that, where it's actually good. So the key thing here for you is to focus on nurturing something. This is the Papa card, the paternal card. He's no less valuable or sacred than the maternal card, because both play a role. So it's nurturing energy, but it's also active energy because we have divine masculine. So here's something I want, because we see this here in the ego. I am going to focus on taking care of it, whether or not it was something that I created or I found or found its way to me. I'm going to take this and make it grow. I'm going to make the best out of this. It's sort of like collard greens or something like that. You need to kind of cook them and add a lot of things to them to add some flavor. So, or kale, or even a potato. They're kind of bland unless you season them and cook them and do things with them. So with this, you're going to take something and you're going to build upon it, and you can make it grow. So even limited resources have the capacity for great growth, but you have to kind of foster it a bit. What's blocking you from the past? What's causing imbalance for you? We have the Three of Swords in reverse. So for many of you, it could be that it's hard to let go of something, right? Just because you know that it's done, or you know that it might be better to not have something, that doesn't mean that you've gotten over it yet. This is a kid saying, but why? Or it's not fair. And the answer here is, you're right, it's probably not fair, but your heart can be mended. There is things to appreciate. There are good things. And so when we take a lesson like, yeah, you're right, that person got more than me, or they got that faster than me, or I worked just as hard, but it didn't happen. What else can I do? And do I really know all that's going on with them? Kind of trying to get out of the feeling of just pain for the sake of pain. Pain is important. It teaches us, it gives us context. If all we had was euphoria, we actually wouldn't know what to do, because we may not appreciate it as much. So use this as context. I didn't like it. I don't want it. I don't want to go back. And I'm going to reach for this. I'm going to go this direction, that direction. I'm not going to keep pushing in the same direction, because that's maybe not the most efficient way to get there. Speaking your mind to create the balance. It's really interesting that we're looking at balance. And this particular Page of Swords is walking a tightrope. We had the Knight of Swords in the last deck, I believe, in the same position. So communication clearly, collectively, is important this month. The page needs to listen, though. And it also needs to clarify that the communication was heard. So when delivering difficult conversations this month, you'll want to check in and say, how do you feel about what I just said? Do you have any questions? Can you tell me just quickly if it all came through? Because sometimes when people repeat it back, you're like, no, that's not what I said. And many times in business, I had that happen when I used to be in a corporate environment. You would say one thing and the other person heard something else, and then that made its way through many ears, and it all kind of ended up getting crazy. So clarify in the moment, in real time, frequently, and then also be as brief and to the point as possible. I do get brevity with both the Page and the Knight. Get in, get out of those conversations, and be done with it. So let's move on to the next piece with that being in mind. All right, Six of Pentacles upright. Actually, sorry, I'm just reversed here. The Page of Swords also here reversed. I want to say with both of these being reversed, this is sometimes about taking too much in. So again, with what the Five of Swords was bringing to you, if there's criticism, if there's someone that says you can't, you shouldn't, you won't, it's one point of view. So don't let that sit in your head forever. So with this, you have more than enough, but you need to make some smarter choices to balance it. So the Six of Pentacles is basically saying, put your mind to what it is that you want to accomplish. Figure out what's most important to do now, and know that there'll be time to do the other stuff later. With the Two of Pentacles, you may have to make a choice. You may not be able to do the other thing. It may take longer than you think. This one, it's really just a matter of pushing things out a little bit, being reasonable, not having everything at once. It's like not eating all your meals in one sitting. You want to kind of space it out over the day so that your body can digest. So you have enough resources ultimately, but you're going to have to make some smart choices on where to stretch a little bit. It is about saying no more often. We don't see the person here, but normally you'd see a person that's giving what they want to other people. So I would say be very discerning about how much someone might benefit from your time and energy, how appreciative they are, how easy they are to work with. All of these things matter. How it feels, and let that be the defining portion of this. The Queen of Wands needs to also be a little bit more open-minded, but what we're seeing for some of you is that it feels like there's a couple messages that are coming through. Either your authority is being challenged, or you're capable of doing a lot more, but you're not being allowed to do that because of the parameters around you, because someone's either closed-minded or they want you to do it their way. It's just policy. And so you need to find a place where you can be freer, like the stallion in the background or this sort of drummer in the front. And she's actually existing within the Four of Wands, right? This Knight of Wands. So by following your higher instincts, you are actually going to be calling in a good partnership as well. So if someone can't or won't listen to you, they weren't the right person. And if you follow your own path, someone is going to want to join in that dance. They like what you have to offer. Okay. So here's the cool thing this month. There is an offer on the table, and we saw that, or there's something coming in. Opportunity beckons. So this was in your career portion before. And as we look at this Ace of Pentacles, we see someone that either wants to offer you something or wants you to join them. It may be asking for like, hey, I like what you're doing. Would you like to join me? Or, hey, here's something I think you should do. There's this giving or receiving energy. You need to weigh it out. You need to use the invisible scale from the Six of Pentacles and decide, do I like that? Does that feel good? If it does, go for it. If it doesn't, remember, you need to have more authority here. So it's okay to go on your own if you need to. You should have a seat at the table. You should have a voice when it comes to revisions and the ultimate execution of things. Environmentally speaking, the biggest opportunity for balance is with stress management. We have the Nine of Swords in reverse. And by the way, we see like the little pillow here. So a lot of times Nine of Swords haunts us when we have free time. It doesn't have to just be when we're sleeping. It could be when we're walking, when we're in the shower, when we're just alone. And all of a sudden these feelings of anxiety can pop up. Like, how do I do this? Why isn't this happening? Why does it never work? And it's just, and you have to, all of a sudden it's like you're just, have you ever seen a kid when they're crying and it's, it's that kind of energy. It kind of, you can't catch your breath, right? So slow down, catch your breath, focus, and decide what it is that you really want to, why is this happening? It's not, there was like this little straw that broke your back, but it's not that last piece. It's the aggregate energy of a bunch of things. So let's go to the source back from the beginning and figure out, this is really where it started. All of this stuff is just kind of added on because of this. I'm not going to be beholden to this energy anymore. It's going to be okay. That's your mantra. It's going to be okay. You're going to find a way. And I'm glad you guys have heard the kids crying. They just don't know what to do. And sometimes it's over the top crying too. So there may be someone in your environment, by the way, that's in your environment. So it doesn't have to just be you. It could be a friend. It could be a family member. It could be a coworker. And I'm getting a little bit of alligator tears with that one, where it is not going, it's not as bad as it needs to be. So what you want to do, we've all seen parents not deal with that sort of energy well. If you don't stop crying, then I'll blah, 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 blah. And then the kid just screams because that's scary to them. You don't want to threaten a kid that's already a mess. What you want to do is actually sit them down for a second and say, all right, take a deep breath, slow down. I hear you. I know you're upset. And then you try to kind of like contextualize it for them. Give them a hug mom, hug dad. It's okay. And then try to get them into a normal place. So I think the main thing is to validate, to let them know it's going to be okay, and to tell them, let's revisit it. This isn't a good time, clearly, to talk. So yeah, take some space. Because remember, we had the Eight of Cups before and the Fool. It might be better to walk away from something because they're not ready. They're not ready to, and they're not going to take what you're giving. That's why this card was reversed. They're not going to listen to what you have to say. So just walk away. It's not a walking out. Keep the door open, but walk outside and get some fresh air. I think that's the main thing that I see with that one. Okay. Yay for this. Are you making time for love? We're going to look at passion next. So I don't always do that, but I do in the collectives. So you're welcome. We're going to take a look at passion. And for some of you, it may literally be passion. But I want you to have something that you love in your life, be it a person or a project or an activity. This is the magic piece. And that's what I was drawn to focus on today anyway, was passion. So yeah, look how we kind of see the energy of enrapture here, like someone getting wrapped up in everything, pulled into like the gravity, right? So this can be you pulling things into your life. I always see this as a magnet. It doesn't have to be a love union. People come into our life because they're attracted to what we have to offer. Focus on what you have to offer. That's how you find love. Focus on you being the best you, the happiest you, not needing anyone else, and you'll find love. If you're looking for love, yes, it could be coming in this month. We'll focus more on that in the next particular reading when we're focusing on passion. But what I will say for this is the thing that's holding you back from passion is stress, or a feeling like I can't, I won't, I'm not enough, something's wrong. It's the voices of the past. It's the voices that come from people like this that are giving us a headache, like enough now. So you're going to focus on, okay, someone's interested in me, whether it's a job or a date or something. I must have something to offer. Let's see where it goes. Sometimes it's good to listen, especially when we're surprised by it. When someone says, wow, you have an amazing blah, 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 whatever it is, a point of view, vision, voice, whatever, and you hadn't thought of that before. And again, I've been trying to coach people on taking a compliment, just say, thank you. Thanks for that insight. I hadn't thought of it that way. That makes me feel good. I appreciate it. So accept something positive and imagine that someone's interested in you though. This could be a job opportunity because this can be money. This could be love. And this could be, hey, I want to see you again. And you just have to decide, am I ready for this? Because there's a lot going on. But I see an opportunity. The question is how it feels for you. Ultimately, you will find balance and success this month. We have the Six of Wands here. Six of Wands is focusing more on you, but notice how there's all these hands reaching for a piece of your energy, right? So you have to know how and when to give those pieces of your time, energy, and love to others. That's actually the big thing here is how much, how often, and how soon am I going to be doing this stuff? Because you're going to have more than enough if you do it right. The catalyst is also a potential future card here. So there's the ability to go from this to, I don't need to take it or give it. Look, I have this whole garden that I've created on my own, right? So let's look at past, present, future, and then we'll pull the balance message together. Let's look at past influences and how this will affect your balance, and we'll look at the cards to help us. So we have the medallion, which I pulled the other day. It's really appropriate because today we see the medallion. So the medallion was also sideways the other day. This is it. It's coming into your hands now, okay? So I usually pull cards out if I'm going to read from the deck a lot, but I was guided to just shuffle them up, and this came through again. So that which you seek is en route. That which you seek you may already have. It's kind of the internal kind of like special sauce that we all have that we bring to something. So are you ready to offer it up as well? Are you ready to receive the abundance that wants to come through? Are you ready to kind of sign on the dotted line or pull the trigger? Because now is the time. So that which you've been seeking is starting to come through. Let's look at the present energies around balance. And we have the Star Born. What a great card. Okay, so most of you that are stopping by today are a little cosmic in your thinking, or you wouldn't join me because I go on crazy rants and talk about all this stuff. So I need you to think really, really big in a galactic way. The Starborn card is the star, basically, but it's the hermit version of it. This is you at your potential of a breakout or a breakthrough, not a breakdown. Breaking out, breaking through, kind of getting to that next level. If you're ready, it's on the precipice, right? And it's interesting. I just got a question here. How can this be a reading for everyone? Because it's the same as any sign. You're actually limiting yourself. And this is what this card's about. For you to break through the shell right here, you have to be open to what's available to you. So when we do a collective reading, everyone that shows up is deciding to work on themselves. You may have not decided to work on yourself yet. When you've decided, the messages start to come through for you because you're opening up. And what is this card here about? Opening up. So it was really appropriate that you're asking a closed question here when this card is about opening. It's a breakthrough. We all have a lot more in common than we have separating us. I do 3 collective readings per month so that we can come together, work together, and see the similarities in our energetic paths. So we're all on the planet at the same time. We have different astrological signs, but we're still working together. Just because you're in an office and you're different ages and you might speak different languages and do different things, that doesn't mean you're not experiencing a common thing together. That's a collective. So you work together despite the differing things that you're doing. Collectively, the breakthrough opportunity is, I can see beyond this shell. I can see beyond this illusion. So for some of you, the shell is it can only be this way. I can only go to my sign. I can only hear it this way. The breakthrough is there's something bigger out there. I'm going to look beyond that. This whole card is star born. So for this, you need to reach out. There's space between you and what you're trying to create. Reach out, break through, supernova if you want to. All right, so I went on a rant, but I don't usually look at the chat, but when I do, I will answer something like that. So this is global. We are more connected, and the connected message right now is to break through and think bigger. The limiting factor for all of you who are present and who choose to receive this collective message at this moment in time is that you have the capacity to reach further than you think. But in order to do that, you might have to let go of something. In the past few readings, if I think back to, I think it was Pisces, Pisces and Aquarius, there was not shape shifting, but like pushing through, like molting, shedding a skin, doing a chrysalis, or doing some sort of a metamorphosis. Today, it's all done. It's just about coming out of that shell. There's a common theme I've been seeing over the past few. And that's because we are collectively ready to kind of come out and spread our wings. How do we get there with this final one? So this is showing everything, putting it all together, anima mundi here. So we see the whole world, we see all of the elements, we see the pentacle that we've been holding on to here, basically now manifest with the top pointing towards spirit. It's time to reach, it's time to look in different directions. When I see a star too, it reminds me of a sea star or starfish, which is if you lost something, if you're looking for something, you can find a different way to grow it or to create it, because starfish, many of them can regenerate. So I would say for some of you, you're reaching for something that you already have or that's already coming to you. You have to break through or break away from something that you've been very much attached to. And that's what's making this receipt difficult for you to deal with. And then once you do that, guess what? You're the star. That's basically, it's the same thing 3 times, because a medallion is an ace of pentacles, basically, where pentacle is a star. The star born here is about birthing that star. And then we got the star. So that which you seek, you already have. You just have to step out and be it. If we look at what a star is, it is not afraid to put itself out there. Just like the Fool was in the previous deck in the near future position, you have to put yourself out there on a limb and say, all right, this is who I am. I'm willing to take the heat. I'm willing to take the rejection. Let's see what it leads to. Okay, there we go. Last couple messages here just for finding balance. Don't let people take up too much of your mental real estate. Don't let their words kind of get in there. You have to say no to some people that are talking too much. You have more than enough if you make proper decisions on how to spend your resources. That's a form of balance. There's something that wants to come in, but you might need to break away from something before you can accept or receive that. Once you do, it leads to really great things. Love, passion is definitely knocking on the door, and it's telling me, Nicholas, let's get to the next reading, and which I'm going to do. Ultimately, you can successfully get that balance this month. It's the communication, it's how much you're giving and receiving that's important, and it's also breaking through. When you break through that shell like Humpty Dumpty, there's no going back. There's no putting it back together. So sometimes when we leave something behind, we always want it to be like nice and neat and tidy. But this is basically saying that sometimes we just need to make a clean break. And in this case, that's not necessarily the worst thing. All right, let me decide which card we're going to use next for the passion portion of the reading. Let's see. I'm probably going to just use this new deck too. All right, so let's give this a good shuffle. Yeah, I'm just looking at all the different decks. This one's calling to me, so I'll just be using the same one here, the True Heart Intuitive Tarot, I believe. All right, passion time. Let's see what's coming through for passion. Passion can be love. Passion can be projects. Passion can be excitement. Where's your passion? This reading is for everyone. There's no sun, rising, or moon in this. We are a collective. We're looking at it together. You can look at your independent signs. I have all 24 videos for last month and this month on the channel right now, so you can look at those. Two of Wands, yet again. Okay, let's look. Okay, we'll do a couple more things here. Catalyst. And past, present, future. The ocean. Wow, that's really cool. Okay. For the past, present, future, we got the ocean. We have the womb, which it was the place of our birth. And then we have the village. And this is really kind of the story of our creation here, but we'll talk about that in a second. All right. Your catalyst in respect to creating passion here is, let's get started. We have the Eight of Pentacles, which is a creative card. For many of you, this can be about going back to school. It can be about picking something up that you've left behind. It's learning. It's also looking at all the stuff that's happened and figuring like, how can I make this something beautiful? Because perspective is everything when it comes to kind of figuring out where we're at. So if you can look at everything as a blessing, as a gift, life happens for, not to you, then all of these things have set you up in this Eight of Pentacles way to be, eventually a master. Three of Pentacles is actually the mastery card, but this is learning. So at this point in time, some of you are just, to find that passion, it's to learn a little bit more about yourself, about your partner, about this project, about whatever it is you want. So dig in, geek out. That's the first message, geek out, learn what you need to learn. Seven of Wands also coming through. This one we can actually see, it's almost like these fiery arrows that hit the shield here. But I see the passion here with the Eight of Wands that we don't always see. So carry the passion almost like a torch and decide like, where do I want to push this? Because there is a pushing energy with the Seven of Wands. So you can direct your energy in the right place. I don't always see it as a sort of conductor, but I do here, because you can say not here, here, because that person kind of pushes things as it needs to kind of energetically shift it. So are you saying what you want? Are you showing what you need? Are you kind of pushing it in the, allowing people to kind of see that? So be demonstrative in your passion as well. We have the Princess of Discs here. We seem to just keep getting Pentacles, court cards at the center, but I'll take it. So a Page of Pentacles, basically, coming through saying, just like the Ace did before, there's something here. Now I'm going to take it to the next level. I'm going to do something with that. Some of you may be thinking of starting a family, especially since I have the womb card here. And that this could also be about birthing a project or birthing an idea. So your main focus this month would be about investing in that endeavor, focusing on the act of creation. So your passion, you need to make time for your passion this month. So whatever that passion may be, if you're not kind of like making sure that there's something in your schedule that allows for that, then you're missing out on potential here. One of the things that's holding some of you back from having that passion is either a fear of failure, a fear of being judged. You're exhausted because you've been hurt before, because something that you wanted before didn't happen. And so what we need to do is, I like that this Ten of Swords is upside down, because in the upright position, it's about feeling it. In the reversal of it, it's kind of like rising up and going away from that. So yes, I felt the pain of rejection. Yes, I felt like I should have had that. Kind of like we were talking about before, it's not fair. You're right. But guess what? You've started to integrate the lessons and it won't happen again. So you did get the Three of Pentacles as well as the Eight. And in tarot, for some reason, this would be like mastery, graduation, you've got this, recognition. This is the student card. It seems like they should have been reversed, but I didn't create the tarot. I just read it. So anyway, I would say for this, making sure that you're kind of taking what you've learned and you're maybe putting it to practice. Here's the interesting thing, because we're talking about school and job or higher calling and present engagement. Go back, and going back to source, going way back to my initial message. Some of you may have had something that you thought you would be doing and you went way down a different path. You can always bring it back. You can always elevate it. You can always shift it or try something different. Interestingly enough, if you've listened to my channel long enough, you know this, but my first degree was journalism. My second one was like filmmaking. But the undergraduate, I use every day here because I ask questions. I talk to you, I talk to my guides, I talk to the cards, and it's asking questions. So I also had an English minor, so it's a combination of all that with the writing, with the reading. It came back, but for about 15 years, I didn't use that degree. So you can always go back to something. Sometimes you're stronger later because you've lived life. So what I see here for you is recognition. This is in the recent past, and we're kind of looking at what's coming for the next month. So this is something that should hit pretty soon in July for many of you. So that offer card that we saw before, there's a chance to get recognized. Are you ready? Does it make you shy? Do you believe this? Because people are seeing the passion that you either have for them or have for something that you're doing, and they're interested, okay? We have the 10 of Pentacles in the crowning position reversed. The 10 of Pentacles can be pressure sometimes to fit a traditional role, get a job that pays, marry someone, start a family. We don't all want to do any one of those or all of those things together. So what you have to figure out is, what is my calling? What's my passion? I like that we have peacocks here because they're not afraid to show their true colors. So for you this month, it's really about spreading your wings, showing who you are, the star, the peacock, very similar energies. And maybe that confounds friends and family, but who cares? Ultimately, if they love you, they'll love what you're doing. If you're interested, this is interesting. We've got a lot of financial cards here. 8 of Pentacles in your catalyst, 3 of Pentacles, recent past, 10 of Pentacles in the crowning position. So for some of you, your passion may very well be bringing some sort of an idea to the masses, bringing some sort of a business and launching it, finding something about yourself, working on it and achieving it. Well, guess what? That's a beautiful spread. That is working on it, 8 of Pentacles, 3 of Pentacles, finishing it, receiving recognition, and 10 of Pentacles. Guess what? People may want more of that faster than you're ready to deliver it. So planning is going to be important. So for those of you looking to accomplish something as your passion, I like what I see. But the thing is, you can't put something back in the box afterwards sometimes. It's like a jack in the box that doesn't want to fit back in. It's out now. So the Hermit card reverse is saying there's no returning to what was before. So for those of you that are career-oriented, I see kind of like this coming out or expansion, but like the supernova and any of that, the material's been spread out. You can't go back. So that's one message. Let's keep talking, and I'll look more at just like relationships and other things in a second. We got the 6 of Wands again. And this has been popping up a lot recently as well. So with this 6 of Wands, there's a reminder that you hold the keys to success in your hands, that people will be wanting and asking for more. And when it comes to relationships in your life, with the 10 of Pentacles and the 6 of Wands, both reversed, high expectations. You may either have them for yourself or others. Give yourself a break. Give others a break. Nobody's perfect. And I think that's going to be really important with passion. But I really hope that you do something that you care about this month, because 3 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles, and 6 of Wands, this is a good time to get out there and do stuff. Amen. Mercury retrograde is done. Like July is looking great. So I think you really want to push forward what's possible, okay? What's going on in your head right now? We have the Queen of Cups in reverse. So this is the only block to love. This is the only block to passion, is that right now, you need to take care of yourself. And whether you are in love, looking for love, or just trying to figure things out, the Queen of Cups reverse is about feeling a lot. You're in your feels, it's a lot. It's sort of like, how do I deal with this? Sometimes it's fantastic. Sometimes it's just too much. Sometimes there's a desert. And so what you need to kind of figure out is, how can I get into an even zone so that I'm easier to be with myself, and other people will have an easier time being with me? There needs to be some sort of a download. Cups reverse are seeking out basically a way to kind of like channel things. So I don't care if you are in a relationship or not in a relationship, some sort of an emotional outlet is needed. So if you can give yourself an opportunity to dance, write, draw, speak, create, and doesn't matter if anyone else ever sees, hears, or shares what you're doing, that'll be okay. You need to get some of this stuff out. It may also be the sort of creative bed from which new things grow. So a lot of times when we're at our highest or lowest, we have like this amazing sort of energy. Push that out there. You can do something cool with it. Musicians, writers, dancers, choreographers, you name it. They're able to really do a lot with that. Even mathematicians as well. Like when you have this sort of, oh my gosh, how about this? How about this? Or there's a lot of stress and you think, I know, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to figure this out. All of a sudden you get the epiphany. The epiphany is just your intuition. So again, breaking through that shell, that egg, that we saw here, that's definitely something that we can all reach out and accomplish this month. All right, but you're a little sensitive. You need to take care of yourself, and that's okay. You're not perfect. You just need to feel through this. I definitely get the sense that some of you are looking to have a baby, because with the womb card, with the 10 of Pentacles card, with the 3 and the 8 of Pentacles, and now with this Sun card, that's all about trying to create and trying to expand the family. And so I feel good about what I see here. Just don't stress out. Remember what we saw in the previous spread, which was balance. In the environment, it was the 9 of Swords. The 9 of Swords holds us back from accomplishing things. For women especially, your body is going to relate to your emotional state, and it's going to be less receptive when all you focus on is the stress. So try to find something that alleviates the stress and that makes it easier to receive. That's why the cup is reversed. So I am ready to receive this and more. The Sun is a great energy coming through if you are starting a family or launching a project or going after something passionate. Let's take it away from expecting mothers into everyone else. So the Sun is how you also appear to others. It's in the environment. So it's your environment and how you appear in your environment. Look at all the hands coming out of that Sun. If you can elevate your mood and elevate your energy, by the way, we're going to go our full time today a little bit, probably about 1 hour and 45 minutes. So stick around. There's more to come here, but I'm not going to rush through it because there's a lot coming through. All right. So the Sun, this is charisma. This is a smile, a beaming smile. This is your animated sort of energy. This is you pulling others in. That's your potential. That's your capacity this month. So the more you can do that, the more you can bring in. If you go into some of the previous spreads and have like the 5 of Swords energy holding you back, or if you become this 5 of Swords, or if it's the 9 of Swords, so if it's just like communication falling down or stress kind of building up, then all of a sudden people aren't seeing this sunny, bright side of you. They want to, I want to, so let's let it shine through, okay? This is a playful energy. Outside of the Fool and the 6 of Cups, it's like the quintessential baby card. We don't see it in this, but usually there's a little baby riding on a horse or a unicorn. And I make jokes about riding on a unicorn, but this is the one time that you can spiritually. So go after it and go out there, okay? There may be someone in your life that's coming in that is really charismatic as well. There are 2 chemistry cards that I look for. I kind of prefer the Magician because it's elevated and it's equal. With the Sun, this is someone that's kind of like bigger than life, and maybe there's a little bit of intimidation. So don't be intimidated is what I would say with this person that's coming in, okay? Because they sought you out too. There's a great line at the end of Practical Magic where she's afraid that the guy that she loved is only interested in her because she cast this little spell as a kid, and she wished for the impossible love. But then he says this line, which is that I wished for you too. So what we see with this is that someone is wishing for you too, or wishing for what you have to offer too. They're waiting for it. They're wondering, why hasn't this happened? So this person or this opportunity may seem too good to be true, but they've been looking for you. They've been waiting for you. Mutual. Sometimes you're starry-eyed, but they're also starry-eyed. I really like let's see if I can pull the card out in this one. Most of the God cards in here, yeah, here it is. Whether it's God of Swords or any of them, if you look really close, you can see the stars in their eyes. So a lot of times we look at others and it's kind of like starry-eyed. Just realize the same is happening here. So don't underestimate, don't undersell yourself, and don't think that something won't happen, because it won't then, or you'll miss it, okay? And then we have the Hermit in reverse, speaking of the star. So again, you've got what you seek too. And again, people sought you for a reason. So your passion messages this month are pretty powerful. Let's expand it. But with the Hermit / hidden star card, and we had the star, sort of like the starfish here at the end of this last one. Basically, it's saying all the stuff that you're looking for is right on the horizon or within. Let's just open up to it. Let's expand into past, present, future influences for passion. And then I'll do a mini review. We'll meditate, and I'll look at your last question. All right, so hello, thank you so much for bringing the ocean through. That's what I thought about, and that's what brought me to the whole message of passion here. So with this beautiful ocean card, it's really going back to source here. But remember that it's kind of, it's cyclical in your head when you think about love, but sometimes we try to find it, but when we can just exist in the state of it, when we love who we are, when we love what we're doing, when we are love personified, love finds its way to us. So go to the source, because at your source, at God is love. God, with basically without gender, without anything, it's like the universal flow of energy, the divine. So it speaks in the language of love. All of its agents are agents of love. You are an agent of love. If you can love who you are and love what you're doing, all things flow to you then. When you fight the currency of love, the current of love too, then you start to experience all the stuff that we feel on this planet sometimes: rejection, frustration, depression, anxiety. So instead think, I'm going to get back to that state of being in love and around love. Then it starts to flow to you, around you, like a currency. You become like Poseidon, basically, or Neptune, which is why I was tuning into that energy earlier. So find the love in your life. It doesn't have to be a person, but just, I really want you to kind of go to that source, because all this other stuff is going to flow around it. You are the creator. That's all the womb card is showing here. It's an Ace of Pentacles as well. The ace is right there inside the womb, growing into something that you want to bring forth into the world. The ocean is very fluid. We have kind of like masculine and feminine energies here, moving and flowing. So you are both. You have the capacity to give and receive. So when you're ready to do that, I feel like there's a birthing that's going to happen, especially since we have the sun card here in the environment. And what you have to offer, people are interested in. So please step into it. And then we have the village here. This is the Six of Wands that we saw at the end of the other spread. Because what would be the village except that? It could be the world too. But I see the village as the Six of Wands. And we see people there with an open, looks like an open cup or an open plate. So you're on the right path. If you're trying to create something, you will. If you're hoping that it will be received by others, it will. If you're frustrated about the past, it's okay, but it's not going to be everything in the future. You're going from back to source. You're going to put things where they're supposed to be energetically, and then people are ready to receive that as soon as you're ready to birth it. Okay, some beautiful, beautiful cards coming through. Quick summary here. I'll pull the camera down for just a second when we're looking here at passion, and then we're going to meditate, and then I'll look at one last question. And sorry, we're going a little over today, but this end of month collective usually does. So don't fight things, instead direct them, let people know what you want. We have a lot of cards here showing a delivery on what you're trying to create here. 8 of Pentacles, 3 of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles. It all looks good to me. Some may be reversed, but the overall energy of all of them is saying what you want, you will get. The only thing holding you back is sadness, fear, and anxiety over rejection. The truth of the matter is it's probably not founded anymore. It's unfounded because we have the 6 of Wands, because we have the 2 of Wands, because we have the Hermit reverse, which is a coming out, which is a revelation, because we have the Sun. So it feels like if you are looking for something, it's looking for you. If you're ready to deliver something, it will be well received. But you have to heal yourself first. Deep past and your emotional self here, your ego, they're off. Everything else is really elevated, but you have to take care of this first. This ocean card can also be that really heavy emotional side. This can also be your heightened sensitivity to receive and to soak things up. This can be the peer pressure. So you want to get past all of those so that you can just focus on that delivery and that welcoming energy that's coming through with those past, present, future cards. So let's meditate. And then I will, as always, finalize the reading with one last card just to answer any question that I haven't had a chance to look at just yet. For today's meditation, I think it would be nice to just kind of like imagine that we're floating on the water, just letting our troubles go, looking at the blue sky above us, the blue beneath us, and just opening up. So see yourself, and if you're afraid of like the ocean, just see yourself in a pool, in a really shallow pool, just being able to, I need you somehow to be in the water or near the water. But if you can imagine yourself in a nice pool that's nice and safe, maybe just a few feet deep, just see yourself semi-submerged, The water is crystal blue, crystal clear. And if you want to go with me to the ocean, it's even more powerful. So for those of you that are going to do the ocean meditation, close your eyes and imagine that you're floating on the water. You could even be in one of those, what is it, the Dead Sea or whatever, where there's a lot of salt and it can hold you up. So you feel that safety. As you look at the sky above you, imagine that there are no clouds. So it's almost this illusion, blue meeting blue, and you're between the two energies, sky and earth, sky and water, and you're just feeling this sense of expansiveness. In this moment, while I play this singing bowl, I just want you to let things go. Imagine yourself as a gigantic cup capable of receiving. In this moment, receive the passion, receive the balance, receive the information that you need to achieve that which you seek, and let go of what you don't. Let it just float away. Whatever you don't want, let the ocean take it away. Let the sky open you up to the new potential. We'll play the singing bowl here for about a minute, and then I will answer your final question. Take one last deep breath. Just enjoy for a moment the feeling of being held up, letting your worries go. Imagine that the water is gently carrying you towards an island of your choosing, where there's a beautiful meal ready for you to eat, abundance and bounty everywhere that the eyes see. Allow yourself to gently step onto the beach, dry off, find a place to sit as we answer your final question here today. On the next exhale, you can gently open your eyes, and let's take a look and see what Spirit wants to give you as your final message. So thank you so much, by the way, for everyone who just gave back a little bit with super chat or super stickers. I appreciate you. All right, think of a question that I haven't yet dealt with today in this sort of general energy check-in or balance or passion readings. And if there's something else you want me to look at, now's your chance. You don't have to speak it, just think it. And I'm gonna keep shuffling the cards here. And let's look at your answer. Two of Pentacles. This is interesting. This is not a yes, no. So with the Two of Pentacles, it's really about achieving the balance in your life. The card was reversed. So what it's telling me for you, I always see a hidden ace with the Two of Pentacles. I also read the Two of Pentacles as work-life balance. It's not so much about money. Money may be what you think it's about, but there's other things in your life that are actually coming through instead. So with this reversed, it's saying it's time to let go. Notice also how the Two of Pentacles is coming from the ocean, which is really cool. So if you're ready in this moment to let go, then you're going to have the ace that kept coming through again and again and again. There's something in your life that needs to fall away, that needs to be released. In doing so, you'll have less, but you'll be able to do more with it. And that's really what I'm seeing here, is to let it go, to embrace what wants to come through, and something really great will happen as a result of that. Don't stretch yourself too thin. There's always a warning with the Two of Pentacles that just like a rubber band, we can only do so much. So it's better sometimes just to say no, just to push back. If you are finding yourself between a rock and a hard space, remember what I said before, that there are different directions that you can go. It's not like the Two of Swords that we saw when I was looking at the energy check-in. You have a lot more in front of you. So you can and you will get through this, but there is a necessary decision to say no, to walk away, or to push back something that's going to be part of your successfully kind of getting through this. Prioritize your own mental health, your own physical health. Make sure that you're making time for things like passion and exercise and diet and all of that in your life as well, because this is about taking care of you. You're one of those two coins. The other thing is whatever you're trying to bring forth. So this is not a yes, no. This is more of like putting things in proper order. If you're worried about finances, you'll find a way to make this work. You have to be smart about it. I kept seeing the 6 of Pentacles and the 9 of Pentacles. If you're trying to do something right now, don't force it. 2 of Pentacles is about finding the right timing, the right balance. So if it can't be done in the way that you want it to be done, it's better to wait with the 2 of Pentacles. Also, you can't do everything at once. Okay, so it's being realistic. Thank you so much to everybody that gave super stickers and super chats. I take a look at everything later and I read through the chat. Thank you so much. I will see all of your comments after this goes on replay. Everything that you see here will be on replay, so feel free to watch it then. If you'd like to join me on social media, please do so. I'm at Nicholas Ashbaugh on all major platforms except Twitter, which is at @Ashbaugh. I use them to remind you of upcoming readings, especially the story features. Just a quick note, because I've been seeing this, a lot of tarot readers have. If anybody reaches out and messages you on any of these platforms, that is not me. If they're offering something like through WhatsApp or a special service or a free reading, that is not me. This is where I do all of my readings, and you'll know because my face is moving, I'm talking, and it's live. So ignore those. There's a technical support form on my website that you can use to report that. You can also just report it if you see a scam, and it helps me out. Please, before you leave, hit the thumbs up once. We have roughly half of the people here that haven't done that. Hit it once. And for those of you that are brand new, subscribe. It's the same as following. You're not going to sign up for anything. That'll be a way to help my channel grow. I'm really close to a milestone, and once I get there, I'll do something special. So let's get there faster. Hit the subscribe button, and I'll do maybe a viewer's choice. Everybody, not just members, will vote between some possible readings or something. If you'd like to show support on replay, you can do it through the applaud button, which is near the share and the like buttons. So feel free to do that. It's only on desktop and Android at this point. I have a pinned comment to my website, so you can check that out for more information. I am taking Monday off, but I'll be back on Thursday, and I will announce all of the dates for next month's readings, probably on Monday or Tuesday. So keep an eye out for that, and you'll be able to set reminders probably by Monday or Tuesday. And thanks to everybody that's also a channel member. I really appreciate and couldn't do these extra readings without the support here, the likes, the subscribes, the super chats, and the members. I've been able to add 3 for the past few months. It looks like I can keep doing that. So the more we grow here collectively and the more you give back, the more that I can do, the more I can show up. So I'm also trying to do a podcast, but I need some more resources to kind of bring all that together. So let's keep growing together. I appreciate everything. Have a great week, great end of month, and a great holiday. If I don't see those of you in the US that celebrate July 4th, it's hard to believe that's coming up already, Independence Day. So yeah, I'll be back next month to read all of the August ones. So can't wait to see what's coming through for the next 6 to 8 weeks. Again, I'll see everybody on Thursday. So until then, have a great week. Catch up on any readings that you missed. All of them are available, and I'll be sending out the newsletter probably Monday or Tuesday. All right, take care, everybody. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. And thanks again to Maria and Dakota for your help today. There was a lot of messages coming through, so I appreciate it. Bye-bye.